So apparently I'm a pro, racing the world champs. Yeah, I still don't know if it's really sunk in that much yet, that actually this is a world champs race and that I'm racing it as a pro. I think like I've had moments of waking up and being like, oh, it's a massive race, and then other moments of being like, oh, it's just another race, so just treat it like that. Definitely lots of other bits around it that make it feel a bit different. I guess being out so early, I mean obviously the altitude camp is not something I'd probably do for a normal race, but yeah, I think the fact that most people are now here and we're a week out from a race is probably one of the key things that makes it start feeling like a really big race. There's also various media things that kind of been up to, so this morning I had a bit of filming, a bit of interview and a bit of photo shoot with Ironman. It was like proper kind of studio stuff, so you know they had like the big green sheet and they're getting you to do all the cheesy things like arms crossed and what you're gonna do if you win. So that was, yeah, I think a bit of an experience, because I did like a little bit of that at Daytona but not loads, because I obviously wasn't one of the big names, but today it felt more like, oh, they actually, you know, I had like an interview with Matt Lieto and all these kind of other bits that they're putting together for their broadcast show, so that made me feel a bit more like, I don't know, pro racing.
You mean we don't film like that?
all the time we're in the studio. So that kind of media stuff, and then just had breakfast with Bob, which again, that's obviously a very, I mean that's something that, you know, for the last 3-4 years of Kona's I've kind of watched basically all of them as that age group fan, being like, oh, my favourite pros that I get to watch, and now I seem to be one of them, so that's quite bizarre. And then I think everything else probably feels pretty similar in terms of, you know, it's just a taper week, the main focus is on freshening up, not doing too much, and then we obviously have to do all the same kind of admin as everyone else. Like I still have to go and register, still have to go and like drop the bags off and the bike off and all that kind of stuff. So I think the only real different things are kind of like some of those media parts of it, and the rest of it quite normal. I don't think I've got any external pressure on me. I have probably put a bit of pressure on myself in terms of what I think I can do if I have a good race, but yeah, I think in some ways it's nice the fact that I'm not one of the people being talked about, although on the other hand that also kind of makes me want to prove everyone wrong and be like, I should be one of the people you're talking about. Like it's really hard to know, because a lot of Ironman racing, and I think particularly at the kind of world champs level, it gets very split of like, some people will probably take a bit of a risk because it's a world champs and that might mean that they massively blow up, whereas I think in a lot of other races you kind of see more of what people do on their own back, because it's like it's more their own race. There might be like 2 or 3 really close like in performance people, whereas I think, you know, a world champs basically like half the field is probably quite close in terms of performance. And then it's, you know, you're having to make the decision of, I don't know, like, do I maybe go with that move? Or if like someone here kind of attacks up Snow Canyon, it's like, do I want to go with them, or do I trust that if I hold steady I can run them down? Yeah, I think there's like lots of other things to think about, but I have expectations of what I'm hoping to do, not really from like a time perspective, but more as a kind of complete performance of like certain people that I'd like to swim with, I guess sort of roughly where I would hope to be after the bike, and then yeah, the run I think it's very dependent on just how the legs feel. But I guess the only other thing that also feels a bit different is all of the, like a lot of the big sponsors and people are also going to be here. Some of that's quite nice because it means I get to meet some of the people that are my main contacts with sponsors that I've not properly met yet. So I'm going to be meeting Ken from Hunt Wheels, which will be really nice. I've obviously spoken to him a lot. And then like the Never Second guys might be out for the race. I don't think they've confirmed yet. So that's all pretty cool. And then as part of that, I think because so many of the big brands and stuff are out here, I also get to have a bit of a ceramic speed do-over of my bike on like Wednesday, and some of those little things that like you wouldn't have for a normal race.
Waiting for the sun to rise, rainy days and careless nights. Say you will, don't say goodbye, say it's alright.